You know, being a Tigers fan isn't for the faint of the heart. It is pain, it's frustration, but there's hope in the heartbreak. And in 2025, it's one thing above all else. It is do or it is die. Because let's be real, we can't do another season like 2024 ever again. We cannot finish last. We got to stop being the butt of every joke in the NRL franchise. And we just got to stop waiting until next year. 2025 has to be different for us. And at the center of it all, it is my man Benji Marshall. It's our hero, West Tigers fans. It's our flick pass king. It's the man who gave us 2005. And he is now the only person standing between this club and complete irrelevance. But here's the question no Tigers fan wants to ask themselves, can Benji really turn this around for the club? Before we get stuck into this, fellas, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. It helps me and the algorithm out a ton. But let me know in the comments, what is your gut telling you about 2025 and our coaches we are seeing in the franchise right now? Tigers fans, we've seen some things. We've endured more than most in any of the NRL history. Since 2012, we've had 7 different coaches. Think about that for 1 second. 7 coaches. The Roosters had 1. How many have the Storm had? 1. Even the freaking Bulldogs have had more stability than us. The freaking Bulldogs. And it's not like we've had scrubs in charge either. That's the thing. Michael Maguire won a comp at South Sydney. You know, Tim Sheens is literally the greatest coach this club and the NRL franchise has ever seen. But they all ran into the same issue, the same brick wall, if you will. It's the Tigers are a graveyard for coaches. And why? I don't know. And what makes Benji's situation so terrifying to me is because if none of these guys can succeed here, who can? All right? Let's talk about what Benji's actually changed. From everything we've heard out of the preseason, this isn't the same old Tigers. Training has been ruthless. Standards are way higher, and the boys are actually looking fit, yo. Like, we're seeing muscles, we're seeing some agility, we're seeing stamina. And let's not ignore the fact that they're finally signed some players who look like they belong in first grade footy. Like, we're talking Jareem Buller is a freak. One of probably the best young fullbacks in the game, in the franchise right now. A genuine star. A guy who, in the right system, could be an origin player in the next few years. But here's the issue. He's still raw. He's still learning. And in 2024, it felt like he was trying to do everything himself because there was no structure around him. Benji's biggest job, building a system where Buller doesn't have to be a miracle worker week after week, game after game. Then we got people like Aiden Caesar, like experienced, solid, a decent organizer. But let's be honest, he's not a superstar. He is, a stopgap, a guy who at best will steer the team around while we wait for a real dominant half to emerge from the pack. And that's the other big issue. Who's the halfback of the future for the NRL West Tigers? It's Latul Fanu. Is he ready, though? Doesn't he get a proper shot? Because if we're serious about rebuilding, we have to figure out our long-term half situation. And then another thing we got to think about, guys, is our forwards. Like, if you've watched the Tigers over the last few years, the Tigers, over the last few years, their biggest problem has been their forwards. We've always been bullied in the middle of the field. Every single game, we've lost the rock, or our line speed is way too slow and our contact is weak. We don't wrestle well enough. We don't win collisions, and if you're not winning the ruck, it doesn't matter who your spine is, they're not playing on the front foot. And so what has Benji Marshall done to fix it? Let me tell you, he's gone out and he's brought in Samuel Afanu, a young aggressive forward with a ton of potential. He's like putting a huge emphasis on fitness and toughness, and on the little 1%ers that separate good teams from bad ones. This is going to be a good team with guys like this. But here's one thing. Culture and fitness doesn't mean a thing if you're not winning games. And that's where I think the real pressure kicks in for Benji, because history tells us that the Tigers don't do patience very well. Benji's still a rookie coach, great player, but rookie coach. And if we start to slow down, if we're 0-5, 1-6, the media will start sharpening their knives to come and, eat us for dinner. The Tigers board has always been like a very reactive board. They've always listened to outside noise. And if there's even a hint of doubt, if the members stop turning up to the games, if the pressure gets way too loud, we've seen this story before and we know how this ends. But let's be positive for 1 second. What if it all works, guys? What if Benji does what no other coach in history for the West Tigers has done? Look at the Knights, for example, in 2023, or even the Warriors in 2023. I mean, even like more relevant, like the Dolphins in their first season. We've seen clubs go from like these easy beat clubs or contenders to like serious superstar franchises overnight. All it takes is just that one right coach, the right players, and just a little belief in the game that we all love. Footy, and man, if there's one thing Benji knows how to do, it's make us believe and like fall in love with the game of footy. The club isn't just fighting to win games in 2025, it's fighting for its soul, for us. It's because we go through another year of bottom feeding. If we have to waste another season, then what's left for all of us to believe in and like get behind? At some point, guys, failure stops becoming painful and just becomes normal. It just becomes mundane, is we're just used to it. If that happens once again, we're all done. Benji's done. The team's done. So I don't know. I just think this season isn't just about, Benji Marshall or the Tigers. It's about every single person in the club, from the administrator to the head coach to the CEO and even the media team. It's like they're deciding to be done with being the punchline and the butt of the joke. So what happens next? Do we finally rise? Or do we keep sinking like we're being used to for the last however many years? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'll be here writing every high and low because I wouldn't want it any other way. At the end of the day, we could go 0 and infinity for the rest of our lives. I'm still rooting for the Tigers. I'm still a diehard fan for the Tigers. Although I might not be over there in the homeland, I'm here in the States. I'm still following along. And I know there's a lot of people in my situation as well that just love the Tigers. We're born into it. And they are just diehard fans. We will go to the grave with the Tigers, with the Marshall on our back. We are Tigers fans. And Benji Marshall, I think, is going to be the key to victory for the West Tigers. But he needs to pick up the game. He needs to pick up the slack. He needs to make the players believe. He needs to make the whole franchise of the West Tigers believe, because this is more than just the team. This is about the community. It is about the West Tigers brand. Let me know in the comments, guys, how you're feeling, your gut feeling about the year with the West Tigers and with any team. What teams do you want to see in-depth coach reviews on, because we have some coaches under serious pressure right now, not just the West Tigers. We're talking Dolphins coaches, we're talking Brisbane Bronco coaches, Sydney Roosters. Everyone is under pressure right now as the preseason trials are coming to a wrap and the season is getting underway. Take it easy, guys. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on an NRL deep dive. And as always, take it easy, mate.